Dryness has not abated. My lips are still so dry. And yes, this is a bit of a stalling to build an audience. This is not my normal stream time, but I've kind of been doing these breaking news things as I hear of them. It's just so funny for me that some people didn't realize I'd be doing this already. Like, my God, things in this party have turned from leadership. There's some things you expect to read, like in the delegates only officially unofficial group, but you don't expect to read the same things on the LNC list paid for by the party and people like you and me. But let's deal first with the most important part. Let me take I did literally just wake up. So when I say I cover these things, the minute I find out about them, I do. Take them, I leave. Have to have some I haven't even had caffeine. This is how much I love you. Okay, enough of an audience is built that we can get to the main meat. Please do keep me company in comments. Because I see you out there, but I like to hear from you. Okay, now some of you may remember, and by the way, I will be posting a link to this video in comments and pinned comments of, and I usually, somebody told me to do this and it was such a great idea. I'll edit the title that says like see new info below or something, because this isn't something I messed up. Like when it's something I messed up, I put see correction below or whatever. But I'll make sure if I can, if the title's not already too long, to draw people to the pinned comment. Hey, Shannon, I did that when I made a mistake the other day and it was all my fault. But today, JC member Tom Arnold sent an email out. I thought it was sent out like kind of on his own, but it was sent out at the demand of the party chair. Now, she was clearly wronged by him. So I'm not going to quibble over the way she asked for an apology. However, I am going to quibble over the way she asked for an apology. I'm sure plenty of people can quibble over the way I asked for an apology, but I'm also not the party chair. And she had basically said that you better do it before I take it upon myself to spread it through my own channel. So when you're the party chair, that insinuates the party data. Like the way it was worded just made me very, very uncomfortable. But there's no fact. I'm sorry, Hector. On this particular thing, there's no fact. If he says he misheard, he misheard. I want to read her demand. One second. Da 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 da. All right, right here. She got the correction, and she said, I would like the correction and retraction to go to the interested parties as well as the public list. Okay, I don't have much as a problem the way I'm looking at it right now, but not everyone has access to the public list. Okay, whatever. The public list has been weaponized for a while. Now that I'm reading it, I don't have so much of a problem for it right now. Just pointing out the position of privilege. But the fact is here, that she's not wrong at all to be upset. I wish we all, though, had the power to say we're going to post it to the public list, or she would offer to do that about everything where people are pretty publicly wronged, and she was pretty publicly wronged. Then not to let an opportunity to take a dig at me on party resources go unwasted. And we're going to read Tom Arnold's statement in full. Anything I'm saying here is not to be imputed to Tom Arnold. He apologized, like without equivocation, without adding any yeah, but whatever. To me, this is broader than that, but everyone needs to know about the apology because Whitney was wronged here. I want you to hear me, because that might sound like Whitney was wrong. No, Whitney was treated wrongly here. Okay, that made that clear. My voice is kind of froggy. But for an LNC member to use this, to take the example, to start attacking party members again, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Hector. I have no problem with it being posted on the public list. It's just that not everyone has that privilege. And there's lots of people publicly wronged in this party. But I get it. It was directly relevant to the LNC. But, they abuse their privilege. So in order to make sure as many people know as possible that people who heard here what Tom Arnold said will also hear here that Tom Arnold has apologized and retracted in a very gentlemanly way. Because a certain LNC member took a very passive-aggressive dig at me for merely trusting what was written in a JC report. Any one of us should be able to read out loud what's written in a JC opinion, and we might disagree with the conclusions, but you don't immediately say, oh God, like I've got to make sure everything in here, I've got to find the timestamp. No, you trust it. When they say they heard something, you trust it. Particularly, this is Tom Arnold. He made a mistake, but for there to be some unspoken insinuation that I knew that was a mistake. Now, I don't appreciate, again, all unspoken. What would some people may say you were there? Wouldn't you have known if it was said? Have you ever been to a JC hearing? It's very chaotic. And during the times when I was not speaking, I was strategizing with my client. I did not hear everything, and I don't even hardly remember the JC hearing now. Like, as y'all know, there's a health thing going on that's weighing very, very heavily on my mind. Busy thinking about everything else. And I heard it, but very much like Tom did, he said he mistook Tara's voice. Tara kept interjecting herself. Now, I don't know if she interjected herself here. It was said, it just wasn't by Whitney. And she has every right to have the record corrected. Now, I have no obligation to do this show. This fault's on Tom. If there's fault, I think he made a genuine mistake. But I feel an ethical obligation to make this show, as I always do when I learn new information. This just goes to show that my attackers on the LNC never knew me and never tried. If they didn't think that without that little goading, that the first thing I would have done, even though I told you today, I am booked solid, but I told you that if there was any breaking news, I'd tell you. And somebody whose name has had a cloud over it, whether I like them or not, and I could have the power to help remove that cloud at least, I'm going to do it. It doesn't require me liking somebody. I do not know why these people haven't learned that about me yet. Most other people have, whether they like me or not. It's a habit of mine. So let's read what Tom said. Get that in its entirety. tire T. Let that get out there so people don't have to keep listening too far in to hear this. And then we'll do some LNC commentary. I love Tom. I feel so bad. It's obvious he believed it when he wrote it. I'm sure he's suffering from a lot of guilt right now. People make mistakes, Tom. And it seemed like you were pretty stressed out with a lot that was going on in life because he also resigned in the same letter. I'll get to the question. Jason, the chat screen I used here loses comments. The bylaws amendment proposal CRM system is a mess. Who you need to contact is Ken Molman, which is vice chair, no hyphen, at lp.org. Tell him every single problem. I think what he's going to tell you is try another browser, so do that first. Though unfortunately, it's probably going to lose all your answers. You can complain to him about that. It might not. It might autosave some of them. I don't know. He's going to tell you to turn any VPNs off. He's going to tell you to turn any blockers off, ad blockers, that type of thing. If you've done all of that, which I don't think people should be, whatever. That's what I've seen him tell other people. If you've done all those things and you still can't submit them, then please email Ken Molman. Your state chair cannot do a thing. So let's go read what Tom had to say. Dr. Ruhr and JC members. Oh, no, that's from Whitney. That's not what I want. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Chair Ruhr, fellow members of the JC. I admit to being wrong as to the comments made by Miss Bill Yu. I seem to have mistaken her voice with that of Miss DeSisto. I apologize profusely for that. While I will not change my vote, I do wish to publicly retract my written opinion. As I have mentioned to the members of the JC, I am currently experiencing changes in my work situation. I had hoped to continue, actually you just said hoped, no had. It's weird the way your mind adds words. I hoped to continue as a member of this group through the duration of the 2022 convention. I fear that I cannot do so. My situation does not allow me to give proper attention to matters that might come up. Consider this apology, retraction, and resignation letter. Thanks, Tom Arnold. Tom, that was a very, very gentlemanly thing to do. Thank you for writing it again directly to all the interested parties so that it could be placed on the public list. I wish it was placed on the public list, not in a passive-aggressive way by the LNC member who did it to take a dig at me. That dishonors you, and that actually dishonors Whitney. She deserved to have that public apology posted with no commentary. But here's what an LNC member that I actually believe is melting down right before us. And honestly, this is like the fourth completely inappropriate comment he has made attacking members. And I'm asking once again for an LNC member to ask him to resign. If you agree or not, maybe write your good LNC members. This is ridiculous. The way Richard Longstaff has been going after members is inappropriate. You don't do that using the public list. And he's not the only one, but he's the only one who hasn't had the sense to stop doing it right now. Plus, I am going to nitpick because I know he's not a boomer, but he's acting like a boomer here. Richard Longstaff, LNC Business. This was posted by Tom Arnold this morning publicly, and I think it's very important to share. Absolutely agree. But here's where he just had to get the dig in on me. Way to keep it classy, Richard. Way to use Whitney's pain to get at me. Don't you realize how disgusting you look here? Whitney was wronged. And you don't get in a dig at me while she's trying to clear her name on this issue. And to any extent that people got that information from me, wasn't wrong. I was reading a JC opinion like anyone else would read a Supreme Court opinion or anything else like that. But I'm doing my part because I feel an ethical obligation to, not because I did anything wrong. Though Richard seems to imply that I did. And when is the LNC going to stop Richard's continued attacks upon members? Or when is he going to realize what a hypocrite this makes him and resign? I'm going to go see if there's any comments before we read just the one sentence little passive aggressive little dig he took at me. You're welcome, Jason. Okay, no other comments I need to address. So let's go back to, it's a one sentence passive aggressive dig. We'll read it and then I'll come back so I can see your comments because I'm flipping between screens here. Everyone's favorite podcaster, which is just so funny. Everyone's favorite podcaster has begun advancing a mistake that was written as fact. Now, let me know, because maybe he's talking about somebody else. But I don't think he is, because I think I'm the only person who could remotely be characterized that way, who's unpersoned, so their name can't be mentioned by most polite company on the LNC. I will give Mr. Flores a lot of credit. And Mr. Wilford, actually. He, because they actually dared say my name, and you're not supposed to do that. Mr. Phillips only said my name when he showed his ass to everybody because he thought a Google search was going to prove me wrong on a parliamentary opinion. And one day it will. But where's the heck is the other string on this? You can tell I really do have ADD catch up. Here we go. But that's the only time I need. But no, I do believe Richard is talking about me here. Because if it was somebody else, he probably would have named them. But I cannot be named. Which is funny because his comment started a whole social media frenzy. Everyone going, who's everyone's favorite podcaster? And it gave me all kinds of publicity. Richard, please look up the Streisand effect. No, don't. Don't. Just continue to be the building gargoyle you've been. Okay. Did I say the whole sentence, or is I still analyzing everyone's favorite podcaster? Oh, everyone's favorite podcaster. I think I'm going to start using it as my tagline now. Please welcome everyone's favorite podcaster has begun advancing a mistake that was written as fact. Now, the barb in there, everyone sees it, is that I knew it was a mistake, but kept saying it was a fact. And somehow I was wrong. No, I wasn't. I was just reading JC opinions. Can't help yourself, can you, Richard? Realize how bad you're making yourself look? Yeah. I don't really care what he does on Facebook. Yeah, everyone's favorite podcaster. Richard Longstaff. It's not false, is it? Should I make it? I think I'm going to make it. But wait, Smoking Llama, I thought the rule was established that you're not allowed to do things like that on social media. I thought that was against the social media policy. God, these people are such hypocrites. I want to make it clear, I don't care what he says on social media. But he claims that LNC members should be removed for that. Senator Epke, will you be bringing a removal motion against Richard Longstaff? Have you set Matthew Buckman on the task to gather a folder of evidence against him? Because there's a lot now. And all super chats matter since I'm everyone's favorite crazy aunt. I'm living rent-free in your head. And the decorations suck, dude. Please get some better furniture. I love the rent-free place to live. Oh, what's my hashtag? What's my hashtag? Let's flood it. Ah! That's perfectly appropriate. That is perfectly appropriate for an LNC member to do. Really? Come on now. You good guys. You're not going to say anything? Really? The pink Scourge t-shirt that will be coming out today. The hypocrisy. Oh, the hashtag was from someone else. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then I'm not gonna amplify it. I think I know then who it would. Name it, put in comments who it was, and I'll consider. Thank you, Smoking Llama. Richard did not do that hashtag. I misunderstood somebody in comments. See how quickly I correct? Well, a scourge can be a kind of a whip, though. It can, in the biblical sense. Thank you, Damon. I get Top Lobster. Can you please do a picture of me with a whip? Like turning over LNC tables? Oh, I know him. He's not anyone for me to give any attention to. That's an ignore. That's an ignore. Top Lobster. What can I do? I don't got no money to pay the guy. He's already turned down ads on everyone's favorite podcaster. How could he not? How could he not want to advertise with everyone's favorite podcaster? I'm going to write him after the show, and I'm just going to beg him. I'm like, dude, I'm just going to say, this is 24 minutes in. I'll say, dude, please just listen 24 minutes in. My audience is begging you. I don't know, maybe if you put it on your store, like you don't need to make it for my store. I mean, I'd rather have it on my store. I'm not going to lie. I want to make some money, but it's your talent. It's your talent. We want like a picture. We want a cartoon of me like turning over LNC tables. Now I know everyone's going to think she's got a messiah complex. If you can't take a joke, I had Michael Heiss, reproducing The Last Supper. Like, cut it out. Cut it out. I'm a Christian. And I make Christian jokes all the time. One of my favorite magazines, any of you have been Christians a long time, used to be the Wittenberg Door. And they skewered, oh yeah, we can quote them. Not America, though. It wasn't America. It's everyone's. It's even more than America. That's the world. And he didn't put favorite in quotes either. Or everyone. Everyone's favorite podcaster. Now, let me go a little boomer on everyone here. But this is mostly on Richard, and he's not even a boomer. I know this is being picky, but I could be a little salty bitch when he's like continually using his position of power to try to get digs on me. Don't you remember one of the things the senator said when she removed me? That once I was removed, I'd be very, very easy to ignore on my YouTube channel. That it's very hard to ignore an officer. They found me still very, very hard to ignore. Richard is drawn to me like a fly to a moth. Like a fly to a moth. That made no fucking sense. That's going to go with my head with its chicken cut off. What the hell does that even mean? Like a moth to a flame, to the pink flame. Richard is a moth drawn to the pink flame, inevitably. Ah! Richard, you've officially entered clown world. We're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. Yeah, moth memes come back and coming. I forgot about that. Is this Richard Longstaff? Oh, don't got a bra on yet. Okay, well, let's go a little boomer. I'm not a podcaster. I wish I could have done the Xena yell, but I can't. I can't do that ululation. I wish I could. That would have been freaking awesome. I'm not a podcaster, technically. I don't care. Like, I know I even say it about YouTubers because I'm right on the cusp of boomerdom. Well, Whitney had every right to do that, but Richard already did. That's kind of overkill, but she probably didn't see it. I'm not blaming Whitney on any of this. She was wronged. She was wronged. She has every right to clear that from her name. She has every right to. I am not that. What you do, you go on with your bad self, Whitney. I'm glad Tom Arnold didn't qualify his apology in any way. Richard, okay, there's nothing nefarious here. Hector asked how Richard originally got it. It gets very convoluted with the JC, and it's not in a bad way. You could ask to be added to the list of people that get all the communications that are going to be public on a case. And Richard's part of the LNC, who is a named party. Normally, the emails would just go to the chair when it's like a board, but any member of a board could ask to be personally copied. There's nothing nefarious or sneaky with that. Nothing. I'd love to say if there was, but there really isn't. Don't you remember Tara having her meltdown with Mary Rourke because I was getting copies and she just like freaked the hell out, and Mary just told her she's representing one of the named parties and she's a party member and asked. Anyone has the right to ask. So just like I had a right to have it via two different ways, so does Richard. What he doesn't have the right to use his position of power to dig at party members. Party members who have been asked to volunteer at the national convention. Richard, is this the way you treat your volunteers? I'm volunteering in other ways for the National Party too. Is this how the LNC, we have a policy on the LNC that you don't criticize volunteers publicly. But the rules have never, ever applied to Richard. Ever. So, I'm not a podcaster. I don't have a podcast. I was a podcaster for many, many years before I was in the LP on religious topics back in my fundamentalist days that ended up turning into a book, most of which I still hold to, but, I was more fundamentalist days, but it's mostly an academic book. It is an academic book, researching church history and things like that, and doing an analysis of a particular Bible passage and then seeing how it applied in history. Very boring to people who aren't into the subject. It's not like Joel Osteen type pop stuff. It's researcher type stuff. So I used to be a podcaster before YouTube was even around. Then for a little while, I did a podcast called The Big L, which I might revive because I still own it. But I'm so busy. I enjoy this kind of media because I can see your comments. But yeah, I've called YouTubers podcasters before. But it's just funny. I should be everyone's favorite YouTuber. PewDiePie would have something to say about that. But anyway, couldn't resist. How do you feel, Richard, getting a dig at me at Whitney's expense? I'm sure Whitney don't care, or maybe she does. I don't know. I don't want to speak for her. Just low class. Not classy. Not classy. Now, Hector said something earlier where we're not going to associate Tom's name with this because it's not his opinion. But Hector had said that the particular JC member came to the right conclusion just using the wrong evidence. Tom would not agree with that. So let's leave him entirely out of this. He retracted, he apologized, and he resigned. Leave him out of this. But as written in the appeal, and as I have demonstrated elsewhere, I do not believe Whitney is impartial. When you have a dispute like this, refusing to guard your impartiality, I don't think is in good faith. Now, that statement that was wrongly attributed to her, that's out of evidence. That's wrong. But let me give you a new piece. She posted an email that wasn't publicly yet posted everywhere. The person himself ended up posting it on Facebook, getting skewered, posted it again, got skewered, deleted it the first time, and then had to delete it the second time after turning off comments and all kinds of comedy of errors. But our party chair forwarded, without any qualifications, a letter that completely defamed the wrongfully expelled members, which the other group has now tacitly conceded were wrongfully expelled. Where is her apology to them? Where is her apology to them? She used the LNC list to selectively put forth an email that she thought, she's going to use the party resources in that way to amplify one message. Unless she was offering to amplify a rebuttal to that, that wasn't right. That showed partiality. There was defamation in that letter. Now, she could say most of that stuff was responded to in the appeal. You know, people are going to read a salacious one-page email before they're going to read a very detailed parliamentary rich 23-page PDF. And there were things in that email, false things, that weren't addressed in the appeal. It was the first time I had ever heard them. And they're false. And Whitney posted it. Where is her apology? Or where is her invitation to the people who were slandered through the party chair on the public list to respond, with her agreeing to post their response on the public list? And I represent them. I will be authoring the response, whether she likes it or not. She doesn't get to choose how people she wronged get to respond. Until then, you were wronged here in this situation, Whitney, by that one mistaken thing in the JC opinion. But you've wronged many people using your position as party chair. The most powerful position in this party. And just most recently, with that slanderous letter you posted, without any commentary like, I don't agree with all of this, or nothing. That doesn't mean you deserved to have something false said about you. No, you don't. Nobody does. But now it's time for you to apologize to the Llama 47. It's time. I don't see Richard screaming for this. He won't. The double standards and hypocrisy in this party are terrible. I am so proud of Tom. Like, he thought, you know how bad he must feel right now? My heart's breaking for him because he's such a kind-hearted man that he's probably in literal pain today. If you're his friend, reach out to him. Tell him people make mistakes. You did the right thing. I'll be writing to him telling him that. Because he must feel terrible right now. And no, I don't think it's good faith when you say, and never have retracted, I can find no reason to disaffiliate New Hampshire, but I just can't bring myself to vote no. That's not good faith. In this circumstance, she was done ugly. Not on purpose. But that's not the only circumstance where there has been extreme partiality. The way she continually misinterpreted the Delaware opinion. That was not in good faith. Made no sense to anybody. When you start to irritate Mary Rourke, come on, that woman's like a saint. You don't go after people doing the exact same thing you went after me for. That's not good faith. You've got an alternate. Now, I know LNC can't remove regionals or alternates, and I don't want anyone to be removed, honestly. But you sure censored Joshua Smith for daring to criticize one of your best friends, Tara DeSisto. Oh my God. There's just so much wrong here. But yet, an alternate can go on Facebook and basically call the chair of the JC stupid. Okay. I wanted to clear up that confusion. That's not even a confusion. I wanted to publicize the apology and retraction. Me repeating it, it was published as a JC opinion. I did absolutely nothing wrong. And I had no obligation to do the show, but I like my audience to have the most accurate, up-to-date information. And I am going to send Top Lobster this video and tell him just to watch from about 23 minutes to 27 minutes. Now, here's the funny thing with the gentleman that was mentioned in the comments as the ones to make that comment. I have no idea what his problem is. He started acting like that towards me years ago, out of the blue. I don't know him. I've heard him. He's got the most wonderful voice on the entire, like, he could, maybe he is a professional narrator. I don't know. But if he's not, he could make some buku bucks. But I don't know that guy. He's got a weird obsession with me. Like, all of a sudden he pops up to start, like, I can't even tell you how many places I've had to block him because he just weirdly pops up. Like, dude, I'm married. Like, stay away. Not saying that he has any interest in me or anything like that. That was called a joke. I know I have to explain this to some people, but there's a meme right now going around. You know, the thing that kids do, those memes where somebody is criticizing somebody and then somebody jokes in kind of a little trolly way on the Twitters. She's not going to sleep with you, dude. Ha ha, ha ha. Those wacky kids. I'm looking forward to the moth memes. Everyone's favorite podcaster shirt is coming on my store. And listen, I can attribute the quote. I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. I'm thinking about it, though. He said it. But, you know, I don't know. I've got other things to do. I am very entertained by the idea. You know, I might make one just for myself. That's not anything I need to get, you know, but I'm probably not going to do that. I'll use it in my show, though. I need someone to do a welcome, like an intro, like voiceover. Welcome to everyone's favorite podcaster, the Pink Flame of Liberty, this Pink Scourge. Wouldn't that be a great intro? I want to get a bullwhip now and film some footage. Me getting at it. But the turning over LNC tables would be. Oh boy. That's it for today, unless there is other breaking news. I have a lot of obligations today, but I did this to help spread the word that what was said in the JC opinion about Ms. Bill Yu is not true, but it wasn't intentionally false. And it wasn't me who said it, but I'm just saying, I'm doing my part. I'm just doing my part as America's favorite, everyone's favorite podcaster. And I'll see you guys later, hopefully. My mailers are coming in. And you know what? I keep saying this, don't I? Why don't we just do an hour? Hypothetical question. You know, how many licks does it take to get to the middle of what is this, Pops? You know what I'm talking about with the owl? 1, 2, 3. How many times does it take to correctly post the date of a meeting notice? The number today is 4. Clown world. Now I'm super curious. There is Tootsie Pop. That's it. I'm getting so freaking old. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you, Janelle. Last night I could, what's it, the other night before, I couldn't think of Dirty Harry, and then I couldn't think of what's it, the Truman Show. Okay, there's 2 LNC meetings coming up. What's the date today? The 12th? We are exactly, or what's the first day of convention? Is it the 26th or the 27th? It's the 27th, isn't it? Okay, so we are 2 weeks and 1 day out from convention. What the hell could they need 2 meetings for? I'm very curious. I'm not saying there's anything nefarious or anything like that. I'm just curious because they've been fantastically vague on the LNC list. One of those meetings is the one that it took 4 tries to actually post a meeting notice, because that's national level secretarial work for you right there. Can you imagine a paralegal that took 4 tries to file a notice of hearing with the court? You'd be fired. Particularly if you'd been doing this a little while now. Maybe on your first week. Because a notice of meeting is just like, very conceptually similar to a notice of hearing. I've messed up a few in my time. It's very typical, particularly with Zoom, that when you set up Zoom, you go to change the time or you go to change the date. Okay. Zoom, like, beginning to think the minutes are written in Notepad. Zoom, when you change the date, sometimes fucks up the time. Like, you set the time, you go to change the date, and all of a sudden it screwed up the time. Zoom does this all the time. Or you go to put in the time and it changed the date, which is what I think happened here. So the meeting notice got posted, and then immediately, oh shit, Zoom screwed up the date. And that happens all the time. I've done it. Anyone who does meetings with Zoom before is going, preach it, sister. You learn to be careful. You know Zoom does that. And you've got to, double check. It's a lesson learned. So you say, hey, Zoom fucked up the date. Here it is, fixed. Should be end of story. Then you don't start a new email chain that goes, you know what? I screwed up the date in the title of the email chain. Okay. Not good, but every once in a while that's going to happen. I've probably done a three-ferd before too. But when you say your purpose is to correct the date in the title, don't you think you would recheck the title because you knew you fucked it up before you hit send? The title was still wrong. But if you listen to the gentleman who calls me the Pink Scourge, he'll tell you I am the worst secretary ever, anytime. That's why nobody takes him seriously, because there's a lot of legitimate criticisms you can give of me. Being a bad secretary isn't one of them. So he looks like an ass. I think that gentleman might have been party treasurer at one time. You'll never hear me criticize. I know nothing about that kind of shit. And you could get away kind of with being a real crappy secretary. You can't get away on the national level with being a bad treasurer. So I'm sure he was a great treasurer. Once you get to the national level, treasurer, nah, you can't fuck that up. You can't. Listen, I don't know enough party history. Like, Diet Dew's wonderful. Maybe the party's been sued by the FE. I don't know. I think we've always been pretty good with our books, but I don't like, that's not my main interest. But like, you'll never hear me criticize this dude as treasurer. You're at that level? Like, good. Math. I'm the Barbie caricature. Math is hard. You have a skill I don't have. But then again, I don't have to demonize people I don't like, which just seems to be a weird trait that some people have. So I'm curious. There's a meeting. I think it's on the 18th. If it's on the 18th, is it on the 18th? Yeah, because I think the email notice kept saying the 11th, and I think it's on the 18th. Hold on. I didn't put it on my calendar yet. Yeah. It's an XCOM meeting on the 18th. For potential litigation. Now, being in law, I'm presently unemployed, but having decades of experience, part of the reason I'm presently unemployed, not right at this moment, but in general, why I've had a hard time is the LNC's fault, by the way. I know they'll go, you're blaming us for your bad. There's consequences to things you do against people. It's okay. The judge of all the world will do right. Do I think I can remedy situations any better than God can? So, on the 18th, which is 6 days away from convention, what could possibly be so urgent that they have to make the decision rather than waiting for the new LNC? Now, that would not be out of the realm of possibility. Lawsuits and crap have deadlines that if you blow them, you're done. But usually, and this could just be because the notice wasn't done great. Usually, it will say potential litigation regarding X. Potential litigation regarding main ballot access. Potential litigation regarding slip and fall at headquarters. Something like that. Not that I don't think we've ever had a slip and fall at headquarters. I'm just trying to give you. You don't just say potential litigation. That is, you're supposed to give as much information as you can to party members without endangering the whole reason it needs to be an executive session to begin with. So are you planning on suing somebody and you guys want to do it? Is that it? Or are you about to be sued? Or is there a ballot access thing? We have no idea. None. Now, I have to tell you, we all have very good reason to be very suspicious right now. This right now is a wild. Do I have tinfoil in here anywhere? I want to put on a tinfoil hat. I can't imitate Alex Jones well. I got a boot, though. I don't think this will fit on my head. No, my head's too big. I wish I could put a boot on my head. Anything else here? Okay, just imagine me with a boot on my head. I tried. A lot of us have a lot of reasons to be very uneasy right now that, like Llama One, who this LNC has sided with, that this LNC might pull some tricks at convention. Do you have any, can I point you to something? No. But my gut, and I wouldn't be surprised, none of you would either, and you know. So, I'm sure Richard Longstaff will blame everyone's favorite podcaster. And I am telling you, this is out there in tinfoil land. But does this potential litigation have anything to do with somehow preventing the party turnover at convention? Do I think the chances of that are high? Nah. We're talking crazy town like here. So don't anyone accuse me of fear mongering. I'm telling you right now. But it's not zero. It's a non-zero chance. It's probably closer to zero than any other reasonable number. But you didn't give us details like you're supposed to. You can fix that by doing yet a 5th meeting notice. But I want, what litigation? Are you about to sue party members? Again, call me crazy if you want. With everything that's happened, with LNC members meeting in private to loot the bank and mortgage our property before leaving and funnel $85,000 of that to a corporation that 2 LNC members founded and never publicly disclosed, that would have sounded crazy too, wouldn't it have? But it's true. And when people asked about it, they got scolded. Indignantly. How dare the peasants ask? So I'm curious. Very, very curious. People go, well, why don't you just write and ask? Members shouldn't have to do that. And I'm done with that with them. Half the time I don't get an answer. There's certain LNC members who always answer, and Erin Adams is one of them. This is an XCOM meeting. She's not on the XCOM. And maybe the other XCOM members don't know. And one of the XCOM members is a friend of mine. I don't want to put him in a bad position. I don't want to make him feel like he should tell me something that he's under an NDA on. We'll find out. I don't take advantage of friends and put them in bad positions. But I'm curious. And I know this LNC likes to victim blame people. Well, you're only curious because you didn't bother to ask. Well, I wouldn't have had to bother to ask if it put out a proper meeting notice. But of course, remember, Richard Longstaff blamed people for filing JC appeals. Blamed them. Said that is what was keeping them from fighting the state. Okay, that's a level of delusion that I'm just going to back slowly away from and talk very quietly and calmly and go, they're coming to take me away, haha. They're coming to take me away, hoo-hoo. The nice young men with the clean white coats. Any Dr. Demento fans in here? Fish heads, fish heads. Roly-poly fish heads. All right. So I'm curious about the lawsuit. You know what else come on. The fish heads definitely deserve the super chat. Come on. anyone who is a Dr. Demento fan, maybe I'm too old. Are you all that much older that you were not around when Dr. Demento was around? Weird Al Yankovic got his start on Dr. Demento. And he only played the, what was it? What do you call that thing? Accordion. Dr. Demento was awesome. Eat them up. Yum. Weird Al would like a surgeon. Woo! Anyway, we're really going down nostalgia lane now. So now I'm curious about another thing. There's another LNC member that they can't meeting that they can't seem to agree on a date on. It's just amusing to watch. And yeah, you'd better do a super chat or I will sing again. What's the Frenchman? Go away before I taunt you a second time. I want the second LNC meeting. I think it's going to be the 19th. It hasn't, I don't think it's been set. It's very confusing. Like Dustin's like, what? Okay. But it's for the 19th. So that will be like 5 days out from, I suck at math, whatever, less than a week. Yeah, mother was a hamster and your father smelled of elderberries. Oh, we could do Monty Python all day. We could do it back and forth all day. You want to know what, Smoking Llama? I was going to do a Monty Python thing when when we were talking about that like fake precision of the fake board. It was like running away, eh? Come back here, you coward! I'll bite your legs off. It's a flesh wound. You're loony. But anyway, they call me Tim. Oh God, I could do this all night. You don't want me to do this, and I got work to do. So the second LNC meeting, I got to shut it because I'll start talking about bring me a shrubbery. We got to stop. We got to stop. We got to stop. My husband doesn't understand that why people love that movie. He's like, that wasn't funny. I'm like, oh my God, that's like the best movie of all time. How could you not love it? There's cartoons, religious cartoons of like monks playing trumpets out of their buttholes. How could you not like it? Look at all the bones. Okay, please stop me. Stop me. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. Look what you made me do, Richard Longstaff. Look at the levels of depravity you've brought everyone's favorite podcaster down to. You feel bad for me yet? You gonna send me money? No, he's not a Life of Brian fan either. So the second LNC meeting, we are going to talk about it, even though they are more like Monty Python than they'd like to think. But we did expect the Libertarian Inquisition. I got to settle down. Once my Monty Python urge comes, it is like Monty Python Tourette's. It doesn't stop. Settle down. Settle down. My favorite color isn't blue. I don't want to answer these questions 3. Brave syrup. Please. Look, all of us, take a deep breath. Just relax. Even though I know there's a castle full of women that all want a spanking. Just relax. The next LNC meeting, which is kind of scheduled, not scheduled, is about the NDA. Now, I know a lot of people, because listen, the LNC really does think it's unreasonable that you're being suspicious of them. They say it's all my fault because, you're obviously my drones within a hive mind with me. Thank you, Trisha. I finally torture you all into giving me hostage money. He bravely turned his back and fled. They brave Sir Robin. I did not. Okay, we're really going to stop. So it's about the NDA. And yeah, the LNC thinks you are all really bad people. You're bad birds. To the gulag with you because people wrote me very suspicious. What's this about? Now, let me tell you honestly, I don't think there's anything at all to be suspicious about in this meeting about the NDA. Our NDA, like our CRM, has had a lot of problems. So it wouldn't surprise me that it's having problems now. I don't think there's anything at all suspicious in it. And I can understand why Aaron Adams doesn't want to talk about it publicly, because if there's a legal problem with it, you don't want the whole world to know. So on that, I don't think there's an issue. Is there a possibility that they might actually be investigating how the Libertarian Defense Fund got all those addresses? Yeah, maybe. So it could actually be good news. I don't think it's anything to be suspicious of. Let me give you problem number one with our NDA. Not a legal problem, because I wouldn't expose the party to something on purpose. My problem's not with the party. It's with certain LNC members. We have one NDA for everything. And I know it's a pain in the ass to have multiple NDAs for certain situations. There's nothing wrong with having one general one. But the one general one that's tailored to the CRM really does not fit every situation. It doesn't. And I don't blame people who aren't dealing with the CRM but are dealing with other sensitive data for refusing to sign it, because it covers all kinds of, it's so broad. Like, no, I know you're doing what's easy, but that's not the right way. Some people may remember my first term, I refused to sign an NDA that was too broad. I said, I'll give you my word. They didn't want to give me the Gary Johnson contract because I wouldn't sign the NDA. Enforcement of NDAs are problems for everybody, though, Trisha. They're a nightmare. They really are. That's nothing specific to us. But there's nothing to be suspicious about here, folks. At least watch it turn out to be wrong. Watch this be the biggest scandal in the history of the party. I don't think so. Go to the meeting, listen, but I don't know what the hurry is, though, to be honest. I will say that. I don't see what the hurry is, because this NDA has been around for a while, unless the two are connected with the pending lawsuit. I don't know what the hurry is. Less than a week before convention. That makes me uncomfortable. That does. But then we have other conspiracy theories that we could probably have fun with. I mean, birds aren't real. That should concern you deeply. So, we could spend some time on that. All right, everyone, now I'm going to go. It's over an hour. I've got a lot of work to do. I need to just be a Twitch streamer because I just love talking to people. And I could do 8-9 hour streams easy. And apparently that's very popular on Twitch. Okay, everyone. You will likely not see me again today unless there's other breaking news. I got shit to do. And I'm already way behind, but I felt I needed to help spread the word that Tom retracted that statement. Smoking Llama, Chuck Moulton keeps telling me get on Twitch and maybe start playing video games. I love video games. The reason why I stopped playing them years and years and years ago is they consume your freaking life. I knew the minute World of Warcraft came out, that was like the devil to me. No, that's like crack. But anyway, if I can't find a job, I'm a bit too old for OnlyFans. Might need to get on Twitch and just start doing gamer girl stuff. All right. Bye.